Yo, what is up, guys? In this video, I'm going to be showing you the most untapped and untalked about method on the entire internet to how to actually resell and become a successful entrepreneur with reselling. Now, this method is better than reselling on marketplace apps. It's better than reselling on Snapchat. It's better than reselling to your friends and family, and you can literally print unlimited money doing this. It's crazy to me that nobody else talks about it, but honestly, I think all these big resellers are trying to gatekeep this method because it's exactly what they do, but I'm showing you guys how to do it for completely free. In this video, what I'm going to be showing you guys is how to start reselling using social media and the exact funnel, the exact sales system that these big resellers use so that you can copy it for yourself and see the same exact success as all your favorite resellers and content creators on Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, etc. So with that being said, in this video, we're going to cover how to actually build a site or build a channel to sell your products, how to actually make content on social media to drive traffic to said website or to the sales channel. We're going to be covering how to actually scale that up to thousands and thousands of dollars a month and everything in between. So make sure you stay until the end and watch all the way through for all the value to make sure you don't miss any piece of information, because every single step is critical. Now, if you guys don't know who I am, my name is Braden. I make over $15,000 a month of reselling, and I'm only 17 years old. Just 10 months ago, I was working at a local grocery store in my area, barely making a couple $1,000s a month. I didn't have a car, and I was literally dead broke. Fast forward 10 months later, I was able to scale my reselling business up to $15K a month. I was able to buy my first car, quit my job, and drop out of school to pursue entrepreneurship full time. With that being said, if you guys want to learn how to make real money with reselling, stay until the end of this video because I'm going to be dropping all the game, and I'm not going to waste any more of you guys' time. So let's get straight into it. Alright guys, so in this little portion of the video, I'm basically going to break down every single thing you need in order to actually start social media reselling, and then we're going to go through actually how to do that, right? So there are a couple things you need. So number one, you need some sort of like conversion or sales channel, right? So conversion channel, right? Don't mind the handwriting, I'm just trying to get my point across, right? You need a conversion channel, you need traffic, and then you also need some way to actually get people to build trust with you, right? Trust, reviews, whatever it might be, because there are a lot of scams in the reselling industry, and these three things, if you have these three things, you will be able to resell on social media, right? But before you actually build any of those things, there is one word that you need to master and one word that you need to basically pick, right? And that's going to be your niche, right? So your niche can be AirPods. Your niche can be, let's say, your niche can be clothes, right? Your niche can be accessories. Your niche can be fucking cologne, right? Whatever it might be. Basically, all your niche is you are focusing on one thing and one thing only, right? The reason why you actually want to do this is because your content, your sales, every single thing has to do with your niche, right? And the reason why this is so important is because the people that watch your content and enjoy your content need to be the same people who would want to buy from your website or from your Telegram or whatever it might be. Everything needs to be aligned, right? So let's say somebody, sees you talking about LV bags in a video that you're making or a post that you're making or a story that you post, and then they go to your website and they don't see a fucking LV bag. They see AirPods, they see clothing, they see colognes. They're not going to buy from you because the LV bags are the things that, entice them. Those are the things that that person, watch your content for. But if you're not selling them or you're not making it easily available for them to access, they are not going to work with you. And it's really that simple. Now you're probably asking, Braden, how do you pick a niche? Well, there's a couple things that you actually need to do in order for a niche to work, right? So let's just take this little box, and this is going to be basically our requirements. So number one, the people inside this niche, they need to, number one, they need to have money. So they need to actually have money to buy your products. They need to have demand, right? Meaning that these products are actually in demand and you can fill a gap in the market. And I'll talk a little bit about that in a second. But then you also obviously need to have like a large market, right? So demand and a large market are a little bit different things, but you need to actually be able to reach a lot of people. Your content needs to be able to have viral potential with this niche, right? Now you're probably asking, Braden, what do you mean by these people, need to have money, right? Everybody in reselling has money. Well, you'd be surprised, bro, because if you market yourself as somebody who's reselling one pair of AirPods, who is showing them, doing one sale on Facebook Marketplace, or, you show your setup and you only have one pair of AirPods, those people are only going to buy one pair of AirPods off of you, bro. If you market yourself as a bulk supplier, you got a bunch of products, a bunch of inventory that you're showing off, you're going to get a lot more bulk buyers. Now, when it comes to demand, demand is simply like, do people actually want what you are selling? And the thing about social media reselling is that you can create demand for any product. Basically, you're not going off of, Facebook, Depop, whatever it might be. You are creating your own demand. Now, the way that you create demand in your content and whatever it might be is as follows, right? Number one, you have to show proof of concept. So you have to show that basically whatever you are doing, whatever is in your niche works, right? It can make them money, it can get them to their goal, whatever that might be. So number one, you need proof. Number two, it needs to be some sort of trend that relates to like the real world, relates to like, let's say like events, and just really anything going on in the real world. So right now, for example, AirPod Pro 3s. It's going to be releasing soon, and I'm going to be hopping on that. For example, right now there's Christmas, there's Black Friday, Q4. So you can, sell giftable products like clothing, colognes, whatever it might be. There needs to be proof, there needs to be a trend, and like I said, obviously there needs to be a market for whatever you are trying to sell, right? So if you're trying to be a reselling supplier, supplying to other resellers, then that product does need to have a market on places like Facebook, eBay, Depop, whatever it might be, and you basically need to convince people that your product or your method of reselling or your niche is what they need to be getting into. Super, super simple. So now that we actually understand why having a niche is important, what are the steps once you actually go ahead and have a niche, right? Well, once you actually pick out your niche, like I said before, we're going to work from the top down. So I want you to think of social media reselling, and this is really just the case for any online business, as like this funnel, right? There's multiple different steps to this funnel. There's the traffic, right? And the traffic comes from things like content, things like ads, things like stories, things like referrals, word of mouth, whatever it might be. All of this comes from traffic. Now, going down the funnel, there is nurture, right? Nurture is basically, this is actually what a lot of resellers skip out on. So I'm going to spend a minute talking about this. Nurture is super, super important. Nurture is trust, is reviews, right? So basically getting people to, believe that you're legit. Also being able to convince people and being able to break limiting beliefs. And this is something that not a lot of people talk about in the reselling industry. In fact, nobody else talks about. So for example, breaking limiting beliefs. What does that actually mean? Well, a lot of people might think that if they order a bulk of AirPods, that they might not be able to sell it. If they order 5 AirPods at a time, they might not be able to move those AirPods. So what you need to do is you need to come in and make content of you selling bulk AirPods or explaining how to sell bulk AirPods, so that way those people believe that they can do that for themselves, meaning that they will buy from you. And then obviously once you actually have people nurtured, you're building trust, you're getting reviews, you're breaking beliefs by consistently posting content, consistently putting in front of people's faces that you are who you say you are, that they can do the exact same thing that you are doing. You now actually have the sales channel, right? This is where you're basically reselling your product. So whether that's Tele, whether that's Shopify, whether that's Instagram, Discord, whether that's like local, there's a bunch of different ways to sell your products, right? But what you actually need to do is you need to work from the bottom up. Whenever you're making a funnel, you need to work from the bottom up. So what exactly do I mean by that? Well, the first thing that you need to figure out is how are you going to sell, right? Now for me, what I would highly, highly recommend is basically doing something like this. And this is exactly what I do and how I make over 15K a month. So what you're going to do is you are going to make a website, and you are also going to make a Telegram or a Snapchat, or basically just really anywhere where people can go ahead and DM you and talk to you. Now, I would not recommend using Instagram, TikTok DMs, like other platforms, like social media platforms DMs that you post content on, because sometimes those DMs can be weird, and you do want to make sure that if your account ever gets banned, like your TikTok ever gets banned or your Instagram gets banned, that you have a Telegram or a Snapchat or somewhere else where your audience is already gathered, so that way when your account, possibly gets banned, that you still have your existing audience, right? So for example, for an amazing website, I'm going to show you guys some examples of websites, and then I'm going to show you how to actually build one for yourself, right? So let's go ahead and look at my website, bksupply.store. Now, I sell vendor links. I also sell physical products. This is a good example of a website. Now, there's a couple things that you want to actually look for in a high-quality website that you can build for yourself. Number one, you want to have customer reviews. Now, I put this at the absolute top of my website, because a lot of people in reselling are skeptical, right? So when they go ahead and click on my website and the first thing that they see are reviews, they are going to obviously be less skeptical. And if you actually look at reviews, it's not just people saying, oh, like, this product's great. It's literal pictures of these people getting their products, selling their products, making money, which is, again, breaking those limiting beliefs, which is super, super important. Also, any frequently asked questions. This is super important on websites too, because a lot of people, especially for vendor links specifically, if you're selling vendor links, definitely have like a frequently asked questions, what do you call it, section in your website, because a lot of people don't really know how vendor links work. They don't understand them. Like, I have people hitting me up all the time saying like, oh, I just bought your vendor link. Like, when is the product going to get here? Like, they think that if they buy this vendor, that an AirPod's going to automatically get shipped to their house. Like, that's not how it works. And a lot of people, you would think that these people would understand that, but a lot of people aren't as smart as you think they are. So you do have to, kind of explain to them on a basic level what you're providing for them. And then also, when it comes to your homepage, I would highly recommend having like a bestsellers or like top rated section, which is basically the products that you basically just want them to buy the most, and then kind of having all your products down below. Like I said, I also have a bunch of reviews here. But if you look at the actual product page, this is something that's super, super important as well. So let's say, obviously, if you want to sell AirPods, you're going to make a product page like this, or excuse me, a product page like this. You're going to have a cover. You can literally just make these on Photoshop, Photopea, Canva, any free site, paid site, doesn't really matter. They're super easy to make. But if you guys actually want all these covers and like a website template, I'll give you guys my personal website template. Just let me know in the comments, and I'll add it very, very shortly, and I'll be able to give that to you guys. So what you're gonna do, obviously, super, super simple for the title. Just make it what the product is. Whatever your product page is, just make that the title. Now, I'm not gonna show you guys like in depth exactly how to make these, because I'm not gonna like expose like the inside of my Shopify store. That's just not necessarily like good for me. So I'm just gonna show you guys the layout, and then you guys can look up like a tutorial on how to do Shopify. So boom, number one, have the one-to-one fair pods. If you're trying to sell cologne, make it Baccarat cologne, whatever it might be. And then also always put your products on sale. Now the reason why you want to do this is because, let's say somebody comes on and they're like, oh, it's they see it's $35, and they see, oh, it's $50. They think, oh, it's a good deal. I better get this right now if the deal runs out, right? So obviously having a discount is always good. Even if this is your normal price, like 35 is my normal price, I would never sell one pair of AirPods for 50. But regardless, it's just a marketing tactic. Also, have quantity. Have a quantity marker, or have a quantity selector. And this is super, super important too, because you want to give bulk deals, right? So I have obviously a bulk deal section that kind of goes over like how like my bulk deals work and what the percentage off is. This is super important to have as well whenever you're making a product page. This is basically just incentivizing people to buy more products. If I go ahead to my website and I go and just buy one pair of AirPods, it's going to be $35. As you can see right here, if I go to my cart, it is going to be $35. However, if I go back and I add a couple more AirPods, let's say that I want to get 4 more pairs of AirPods, so I want to get 5 in total. Instead of that being 35 times 5, which is 150 plus 175, it's going to be 150. You're getting bulk deals, and they see that and they're like, oh, I'm getting another discount. That's amazing. So I'm obviously going to want to buy more products. And then below your product page, your description, your product. Also have reviews again. Once again, have a bunch of reviews. Just literally just flood people with social proof. If you just flood people with proof, flood people with your shit works, you're trusted, you're gonna be straight. And then yeah, that's basically it. Just make sure you have good reviews. Make sure you have a good, concise product photo description. Make sure you're offering bulk deals. And that's really what's most important for the website. Now for Telegram, it's really kind of self-explanatory to do. For Telegram or like Snapchat or anything, just post your products on your story, post the price, and ask people to DM you if they want them, bro. It's super, super simple. I'm not going to go too much into that, but the website is super important. Just make sure the design doesn't really matter that much. I wouldn't recommend making a website with like a black background. Always have white background because white's more trusting, but other than that, the design doesn't really matter. Nothing else really matters besides having reviews, having the product itself, having your product priced well. And that's honestly pretty much it for the website. Now, the second step of funnel in social media reselling, if you go over to my amazing drawing right here, is going to be nurture, right? Like I said, the pillars of nurture is trust, reviews, and breaking beliefs, right? So, what do you actually need to do in order to nurture people, right? So a couple things that you can do. Let me just go ahead and write this down real quick. Nurture. You need to do research. This is where it's very important to understand your niche and understand your target customer, because every niche in and of itself, a niche isn't necessarily a person. A niche is just like an idea or like a group of people, but then there are people inside that niche that have certain beliefs, that have certain wants, that have certain needs, and you need to find those out. So you need to find out the wants, the needs, and also the beliefs of your potential customers, right? And what you basically need to do is spend all or the majority of your content fulfilling their wants, basically being able to give them what they want, right? And being able to take them from, oh, this spot to another, right? So for example, even if you're selling clothing, taking them from not being, dripped out, not having good clothing, to being able to buy your products and then have, drip, like whatever, like make outfit videos or some shit like that. If you're promoting like me and you want to be a supplier and you want to help other people make money with reselling, just simply say, tell your story about where you were when you started reselling and then where you got to today, and basically say that, okay, from point A to where you started to point B, 10K a month, 15K a month, 100K a month, whatever it is, I am this line. This is me. This line, this solution, this bridge is you right here. That bridge is you. You are going to get this person from point A to point B with your website, your products, whatever it might be, your vendors, and that is how you're going to market. Now, also beliefs. Beliefs are super, super important because people have negative beliefs, right? And then they also have positive beliefs, right? And what you need to do is you need to break their negative beliefs and lead them into the positive, because negativity in and of itself is a much, much more stronger emotion than positivity. So if people think that, oh, I can't sell 5 pairs of AirPods, there's no way I can do that. But then they also think, if I sell 5 pairs of AirPods, I'm going to make $500, right? That $500 is going to become kind of obsolete to them because they still think that they can't sell them and they're never going to take the risk. The risk for a lot of people, if they have limiting beliefs and they're not willing to take the risk, it is because the risk does not outweigh the reward, right? The risk is less than the risk is bigger than the reward, right? And you want to be able to flip that so that the risk is actually going to be smaller than the reward, that the position that you can put them in through the products is much, much, much bigger than the risk. And you want to be able to show that in your content, and that comes by understanding your target customer. Now also, like I said, nurturing also comes down to being able to show people that you are legit, that you have reviews, that real people are buying your shit and real people are working with you. And this is just obviously just comes by like gaining experience, getting more sales. And as you get more sales, if you do business correctly, you're going to have more positive reviews. So there's not a whole lot you can do there. Just ship out your orders on time, have good customer service, provide people with good pricing, bulk deals. And you honestly should just get good reviews, bro. Like if you're a halfway decent reselling supplier in 2025, you will get good reviews, because a lot of these suppliers suck. They take months to ship or they never ship at all. They're taxing. So it's really not hard to get good reviews as a reseller, because the market is just like the threshold for being a good supplier or a good reseller. It's just so low that you can literally do the bare minimum and be considered like a top reseller. It's actually insane. Now the last thing that we are going to discuss in this video is traffic, is content. How do we actually create content to get people to our page so that they can watch our videos, we can build trust with them, we can get them to their website so we can, build trust with them, see our reviews on our website, so then they therefore can get sales, right? Because if you have the best website, if you have the best internal marketing and nurturing and trust value proposition in general, but you don't have views, you're not going to get anywhere. Views and traffic equals sales. And even if you have the worst website and the worst reviews, and you do the absolute least, and your website is literally just one product, but you get 10,000 people to that website a day, you're going to get sales, and that's just simply how it works. If you're a beginner, there are a couple things that I would say to do for content. There are a couple different routes you can go. You guys can kind of go I don't necessarily know what you can call it, but basically the BK supply method, basically what I do, right? Which is basically just posting, meetups, unboxing videos, and then sprinkling in a little bit of a little bit of value every now and then. This is basically the method that every reseller uses. Every single reseller has reselling skits, unboxings, and those go viral, which lead them to the more value content, which is less viral, and and the value content kind of nurtures people, and it gets them to their website. You can also kind of go with like the shop/store method. This is something that my boy J-Mick does really well. He makes like over 100K a month reselling. It's fucking insane. But literally all he does, he just like posts like fits. He posts like he does like influencer marketing, which is basically just like getting influencers to like buy your product or sending products to influencers and getting them to post you on their story, which does cost a lot of money. What else does he do? He does like he works with stores, and then the stores push out his product. But this one costs a lot of money to start, but it is a lot faster growth. However, this costs a lot more time to start. But once you actually get going and you get followers and you get engagement and you kind of figure out how to make content, it does become a lot easier. Now, obviously, if you're watching this video, you probably don't have a lot of money and you probably do have a lot of time. So I would definitely say go with this method. Make your own content and grow your own page organically, and literally just like copy viral videos. Make sure you're consistent. So post every single day. Literally multiple times a day if you can. I would say 1 time a day on Instagram, and like literally like if you can post over 5 times a day on TikTok, you'll be perfectly good. Like I remember when I had my TikTok account, it got banned now, but my original TikTok account, I had like 3,000 followers and I was printing like $500 a day just off vendor links, and I grew that by posting just like 5 times a day, like just like genuinely just like shit posting, to be completely honest. But content really just is a game of finding what works for you, finding your kind of, you know, unique ideas, your own unique kind of style, and then you obviously lead people to your website, lead people to your reviews, and then you will go ahead and get sales. Yeah, guys, that is a very kind of simple slash kind of in-depth, I guess, tutorial on how to resell on social media. I hope you guys found that valuable and really do take action on this, because social media reselling is the wave. And if you get good at social media once, you're going to be able to basically do like literally anything, like reselling, e-commerce, like course selling. Like, it doesn't matter, bro. Social media is the wave. So if you can figure out social media, you will be rich for the rest of your life. Now, if you guys want to use the exact suppliers I used to make over 15K a month that you guys can buy once and then resell on your website, you can use to supply the people, whatever you need to do. Go to the website, beaconsupply.store. It'll be linked down below in the description. And if you guys need to contact me, if you have any questions, feel free to just hit me up on Telegram. That will also be linked down below. But with that being said, hope you guys genuinely take action on this video. If you guys like this type of content, feel free to subscribe, comment with any questions or any kind of future videos that you would like me to make. And with that being said, it's Beacon Supply, and I'm out of here.